Okay team, it's 9:30, so we'll kick off by my computer. Mount Isa City Council acknowledges the Kalkadoon and the Injalindji people, traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today, and pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. We extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples here today. Please note this ordinary meeting of Mount Isa City Council will be live streamed and recorded in accordance with Council's recording of council meeting policy. As a visitor in the public gallery, your presence may be recorded. By remaining in chambers, it is assumed your consent is given if your image is inadvertently broadcast. Welcome to our meeting for the 28th of January 2026, and Happy New Year everybody. I'd like to start by the prayer, but we might kick that down the road. Can we leave that and do leave of absence first in case someone shows up, or will I get a councillor to do the prayer?
Just do the Our Father.
Councillor Coghlan, I think that's usually your duty. Would you like to lead the prayer?
Yeah, sure. So we'll just do the Our Father. So,
Okay.
Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
Thy
Kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us.
But
Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Apologies and leaves of absence. I would like to move that the apology be received from Councillor John Tully, that is accepted, and a leave of absence be granted for today's ordinary council meeting. Do I have a seconder for that motion?
Ballard.
Thank you, Councillor Ballard. All in favour? Carried. Okay, it's public participation time. During the month of December, Mount Isa City Council staff raised $241.80 for the Drovers Camp through the Casual for a Cause initiative. I am pleased to present Ellen Finlay with a certificate of donation and invite her to come and share a bit about the Drovers Camp Association. So, Ellen, if you'd like to come into the middle here. So as most of you watching or in the audience know, that every Friday the council staff wear free clothes and give a gold coin donation, and that's how they raise their money for Casual for a Cause. So this month the money is going to the Drovers Camp in Camberwell, the amount of $241.80. So I'd like to welcome Ellen to Mount Isa City Council chambers to accept this on behalf of our staff, and invite her to say a few words about the Drovers Association.
Thanks, everyone, and I'd like to thank the employees who contributed to our association. It's greatly appreciated. Most of you all know the Drovers Camp. We house the memorabilia of the droving era, which is helping to preserve the history of it. And we also have tours when we have a guide, so one of our old stockmen, which is getting very lean on the ground. But yeah, we also, in the past, we've run the Drovers Festival. Due to lack of volunteers, it's getting very hard to be able to put that on each year. So we've sort of gone to running Bronco branding, which is a lot easier for us to handle. So, yeah, that's about it. Thank you.
Thanks, and I've had the opportunity to be out at the Drovers Camp maybe 3 or 4 times last year, and I just want to say what a magnificent job you guys do. If you haven't been out there, make sure you go out and have a look at the displays, and I think my favourite part of the murals around the outside and the way you've done the tanks and everything. I did get a chance to go out to the Bronco branding. That's not for the faint-hearted, but yeah, you do put on a good show out there, so thank you very much for the work you do for our community. I just want to stand here and we'll get a photo. Thanks. Yeah, you can go now. Take the money and run. Okay, I'll now move on to item 15.1, minutes of the ordinary meeting held on the 17th of December 2025. Do I have a mover for that motion?
Yeah, I'll just move that the minutes of the ordinary meeting held on the 17th of December 2025 be confirmed as a true and correct record.
Thank you, Councillor Krause. Do I have a seconder?
Ballard.
Councillor Ballard, would anyone like to speak to that? No? All in favour? Carried. Item 6.1, outstanding actions from previous council meetings as of the 23rd of January 2026. Do I have a mover?
I'll just move that the council receives and notes the outstanding actions from the previous council meeting as at the 23rd of January 2026.
Do I have a seconder for the motion?
Seconded, Deputy.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Any comments on that from anybody? All in favour? Carried. Item 6.2, lift tabled matter from the table. Has someone got the motion there for that one that
Yeah,
they'd
okay,
like to move?
Move that the item titled Lease Renewal of Lot 3 on SP 222005, which was ordered to lie on the table at the December 2025 ordinary meeting of council, now be lifted from the table and considered later in the meeting as item 12.2 on this agenda.
Thank you, Councillor Crowther. Do I have a seconder for the motion? This is just to lift the motion.
Ballard.
Thank you, Councillor Ballard. All in favour? Carried. I pause now and go back to the prayer. Derek's just turned up. Oh, okay. Okay, so we might have a pause in the proceedings. I think Derek Tuahini from the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints has come along. We are very punctual here at council, and we just did a bit of a Lord's Prayer in your absence, but seeing you're along, we'll just pause and let you do the prayer. Thank you.
Thank you. Heavenly Father, we thy sons and daughters approach thee in prayer this morning. We express our gratitude to live in a country with freedoms and our gratitude to live in a city that affords us many opportunities to provide for our families. We pray now that you will bless these men and women who have been chosen by the voice of this city to run the affairs of Mount Isa, to look after its financial well-being, as well as the day-to-day infrastructure and beautification. We pray that you will bless them, that their minds will be sharp, that they can see answers to any vexing problems that they may be considering. We pray that you will bless them with sufficient time to spend with their families. And these blessings we seek of thee and ask of thee this morning, and do so in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Derek. Okay, so we're up to section 7, declarations of conflict of interest. I'd now like to pass over to Councillor Doyle.
Yeah, just a perceived conflict of interest. My father-in-law's on the board of YPA, so yeah, it's up to you fellas if you want to vote me to have a vote or not.
Okay, so I'd like to move, because it is a declarable and not a prescribed interest. I think Councillor Doyle can make a decision on this, so I'd vote that he stay in the room and be able to vote on that. Do I have a seconder for that motion?
Yeah, I'll second that.
All in favour?
No, I don't. I think it's a conflict of interest. I'm against it.
So what was that, 3 and 3?
I think it's 3-2. I think Doyle.
Our Australia Day celebrations, we welcomed 72 new Australian citizens and recognised outstanding community members who exemplify what makes Mount Isa so special. I challenged our community with 3 asks for 2026: sell our story with pride, invest in our town through time and energy, and model what makes Mount Isa great so others want to be a part of our community. I particularly recognise the Lake Mindara cleanup as an example of a community-led initiative, residents who identified a problem and fixed it. The message was clear: Mount Isa's future will be built by its people. How we represent our town, invest in it, and step up to lead matters. Council is not Mount Isa, our community is Mount Isa. I'm optimistic about our future when we harness our strengths, multiculturalism, resilience and willingness to take strategic risks. I would once again like to make mention and congratulate our Young Citizen of the Year, Claire Sexton, our Senior Citizen of the Year, Jim Nuttall, and our Mount Isa Citizen of the Year, Mark Tomo Thompson, all of the worthy recipients led by example to make our town better for the whole community. Congratulations to all other award winners, and if you were looking to see who they were, all the photos are available on our social media channels. I'd like to thank the LDMG and in particular our Deputy Chair, Councillor Tully, and our Executive Officer, Andrew Hobbs, for stepping up and having all those meetings over the disaster period, particularly that first week in January when I was away. We were really fortunate with the flooding, and I'd like to express sympathy to the other councils that did not fare as well as we did. We've got a number of upcoming events. The Sign On Expo this Saturday at Buchanan Park, the one-stop shop where you can come and check out what sports and activities we have in our community. Sign up yourselves or your family. We have the Beats and Bites coming up on the 7th of February, and Move It continues to be popular with the community. At the moment, there's aqua aerobics, boxing and yoga on offer. We have a number of condolences for our members of our community who have passed away over the break. However, I'll leave it to the councillors to speak to them in general business. Yesterday, we had one of the biggest community consultation I've seen in my history of coming to council. I think we had a large number of people show up, more than we're probably allowed to have in this room. And I think it's just a great example of what a good community we have. I think, my intention leading the council, I know that of the councillors, is for us to build a united council that can solve our issues, and we can't do that unless we hear from all segments of the community. So it was great that everyone was able to come together yesterday, have tough conversations, and do it in a respectful manner. So thank you to everyone that attended that community consultation. Okay, and that's my mayoral minute done. There's nil notices of motion, so I'd like to go on to item 10.1, update of Register of Delegations, Councillor to CEO. Do I have a mover for that motion?
Yeah, I'll recommend the council adopt the updated Register of Delegations. Council.
Item 10.2, 2025-26 operational plan, second quarter update. Do I have a mover?
Yeah, I'll move the council receive and accept the 2025-2026 operational plan, second quarter update report.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder for the motion?
Seconded.
Thanks, Councillor Crowther. Any commentary on that?
Yeah, it's just part of the local government regulation, and you can't progress without a plan. And so each year our CEO sits down and puts one in place, and we trust in Tim.
Very wise words. Thank you. All in favour of that motion? Carried. Item 10.3, proposal to reschedule February meeting date. There are a number of us that have a clash on the proposed date, so would anyone like to move the motion 10.3?
I'll move that council reschedule the ordinary council meeting date from 25th February 2026 to 18 February 2026.
Thank you, Councillor Ballard. Do I have a seconder for the motion?
Seconded, Coghlan.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. All in favour?
Hang on. Can I ask what councillors are affected?
There will be Councillor Tully, the CEO. I can Teams in, but I will not be here physically on that date. I think we had a chat about it in the workshop and decided it would be better if we were to move it. Were you not there?
I was there, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't in favour of moving it.
Oh, okay. Well, you can vote no.
Well, there was three councillors away for the December meeting, and the same courtesy wasn't afforded us. So I find it strange that now we're.
Did you request the move?
I did. I thought it would be better because the mayor and the CEO are both away.
No, I mean for the December one.
No.
It could have been moved had the request been made.
I wasn't aware I had to make a request. It was prior knowledge, but yeah, so I'll take that on board.
Okay. All in favour? So that's 1, 2, 3, 5 for, 1 against. Okay, item 11.1, Finance Overview Report, December 2025. Do I have a mover?
I'd like to move that council receives and accepts the December 2025 Finance Overview Report as presented.
Thank you, Councillor Ballard. Do I have a seconder for the motion?
Seconded.
Thank you, Councillor Crowther. Did you have any words?
Council's in surplus, but income is 8% below budget, primarily due to grants and water bills that haven't come in yet. Our spending is well in hand, but staff costs are a bit higher than expected, and depreciation is up due to some changes we've made around how we calculate that. There's plenty of cash on hand, and debt recovery is ongoing, but we need to keep an eye on renewing our water and sewerage assets because our asset ratios are outside of optimal specifications. I'd like to thank Director Kelvin and his team for their ongoing efforts to improve Council's fiscal management.
Yeah, thanks. I think we all recognise that team's doing an amazing job for us. Thank you. All in favour? Carried. Do I have a mover for 11.2, Mount Isa City Council Departmental Business Units Finance Overview Report as of the 31st of December 2025?
I'd like to move that Council receives and accepts the December 2025 Mount Isa City Council Departmental Business Units Finance Overview Report as presented.
Thank you, Councillor Ballard. Do I have a seconder?
Seconded.
Thanks, Councillor Crowther. Did you want to speak to that, Councillor Ballard?
Most departments are really close to their budgets, but some income's down because of delays in grants and lease payments. Splashes, the Civic Centre and Buchanan Park have all seen a lot of community use, especially during events like Australia Day, the Sign-On Expo, and Let's Get Enrolled. Financially, these facilities will continue to run at a loss, which is pretty typical, but their value to the community is pretty clear. Thanks to the management teams for their hard work in maintaining these venues and for hosting some great events.
Thank you. Anyone else? All in favour? Carried. We now move on to Community Services Reports. Item 12.1, Development and Land Use Quarter 2 2025-2026 Overview Report. Do I have a mover?
Yes, I move that council receives and accepts the Development and Land Use Quarter 2 2025-2026 Overview Report as presented.
Thank you, Councillor Coghlan. Do I have a seconder for the motion?
Ballard.
Thanks, Councillor Ballard. Did you want to speak to that, Councillor Coghlan?
Not this one, no, thanks.
Okay, thank you. All in favour? Carried. Item 12.2, Lease Renewal Lot 3 on SP 222005. Do I have a mover?
Yeah, I move that council resolves, that council resolves that council is satisfied that a trustee lease over council reserve land described as Lot 3 on SP 222005 may be entered into other than by tender or auction, and authorise this action under section 2361C3 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, and to enter into the new trustee lease agreement with the current leasee over council reserve land described as Lot 3 as above for a term of 10 years, and that conditions in the trustee lease agreement will include the lease or lease area is not to be transferred or subleased, and to hold tenure over Lot 3 above. The lessees must permanently reside in Mount Isa, and the lessee must comply with all relevant legislation, including but not limited to the acts and legislation mentioned. And 4 delegates to the Director of Community Services, or delegates, sorry, to the Director of Community Service the authority to finalise all matters in relation to the trustee of the lease agreement. Or option 2, that council resolves that council is satisfied.
No, that's the second. That's if you didn't want to support. That was the recommendation. So you're moving the first one?
Yeah.
Okay. Do I have a seconder for that motion?
Seconded, Coghlan.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Would anyone like to speak to that? Or
No, I think we've spoken about this, and a good job is being done by the leasee, and while they're doing a good job, they should be rewarded.
yeah, thank you. That was my understanding as well. There was a lot of conversation on this one. We did really consider it thoroughly, but obviously no decisions made out of this room. So today's the day we make the decision. All in favour? 5-4, 1 against.
Mhm.
Yep. Thank you, carried. Item 12.3, proposed tenure over vacant lease area E SP 248022 in lot RD138, Mythinkay Noogli Young People Ahead Youth and Community Services Indigenous Corporation. Do I have a mover for the motion?
I'll move that council resolves, number 1, that it is satisfied that the disposal of the premises by way of a trustee permit may proceed other than by tender or auction, because an exception applies to authorise that disposal under section 2361B2 of the Local Government Regulation 2012 Queensland, in that the disposal is to a community organisation, and number 2, that the site is offered as is with no ongoing cost to council for its establishment, and 3, to offer a trustee permit for a term of 1 year over reserved land described as Lease Area E on SP 248022 in Lot 8 RD 138 to the Mythinkaya Noogli Young People Ahead Youth and Community Services Indigenous Corporation for the establishment of an outdoor adventure-based training precinct, and the Mythinkaya Noogli Young People Ahead Youth and Community Services Indigenous Corporation to obtain the required development and building approvals, and 5, Mythinkaya Noogli Young People Ahead Youth and Community Services Indigenous Corporation must have substantially commenced works on the site within 6 months of tenure, and 6, to agree that the rent will be set at $2,562.49 per annum, payable in advance at the commencement of tenure, and 7, to delegate to the CEO for signing after consultation with councillors the authority to finalise all matters in relation to negotiating and entering into a 12...
Seconded.
Thank you, Councillor Crowther. Would anyone like to
Through the
speak to
Chair,
that?
Can I, is number 7, does it delegate to the CEO or Director of Community
No,
Services?
to the CEO.
Okay.
You probably need to note that you've changed.
Note, I've amended the recommendation.
Okay. I haven't got, this final agenda, I haven't got number
No,
0.8 on it.
it's written. I've amended it.
She's amended the delegation.
She's made her own amendments to move it just this morning, just
okay.
now,
Yep, okay.
to include delegation to the CEO,
CEO, not
so that
community
everyone can
services.
look at the lease.
And what was the 0.8?
Point 8 was the structures for accommodation, because it's only for recreational purposes.
Okay, would anyone else like to speak to that?
I would.
Okay, thank you, Deputy Mayor.
Hey, who
Did you-
seconded it?
Yeah, I second it.
I just would like to say thank you to Alvin and Danielle for yesterday, because you answered a lot of my questions. It was probably the first time that I was able to ask questions about it, even though we had some feedback and all that from it. I've still got a lot of questions, and one thing, we haven't seen any of the programs, and I'm a bit confused. It's an on-country program, but it's in town, like that was something as well. And I just need to know more information on the plan and how things are going to work. So it was very hard yesterday because there was a lot of people in there. There was a lot of conversations happening. So I think it would have been good if we could have had a little bit more consultation with yourself and directors before it. But that's, that's up to me to get that information off you.
Oh, thank you. Was the recommendation 1 year, Deputy Mayor, or did you make that change?
No.
Oh, it was 1 year? Okay, thank you.
That's a
Councillor
trustee.
Ballard?
1 year trustee permit, wasn't it? And then a 3-year lease, or was that, no?
1 year over reserved land described as Lease Area E. That was the recommendation from Development Planning.
Okay, thank you.
There's something in the summary they're just saying about 3 years though, up in the executive summary, but maybe.
Yeah,
things-
rightio. Yeah, my understanding was it was 3 years, but we'd review it after a year to make sure all bits were in place, but we'll look more closely at that. Councillor Ballard?
I'd like to acknowledge the importance of the work that Elvin Haver and the team are doing, and I fully support the aims of their program. However, I don't support granting tenure for this site, as I share the concerns of local residents about the risks of establishing such a facility immediately adjacent to a residential area. While I recognise the urgency of the proponents to secure a location, I believe this program would be better delivered at a site further removed from residential properties, and for that reason I won't be voting in favour of the motion.
Thank you, Councillor Ballard. Did you have anything to say, Councillor Doyle? Did you want to speak to it?
I just think at the end of the day, they're doing something for our youth and our people. So the people that do have an issue with it, well, they're probably the same people that, you know, complain about the issues that happen in our community. So if people are putting something together to try and find some resolutions, some solutions, then I'm all for it. That's part and parcel of when you buy a house, isn't it? You know, it goes up and it goes down, it booms. So that's just part and parcel of it.
Thanks, Councillor Doyle. Councillor Crowther?
As long as that the lease is used for that, as the purpose stated, and as mentioned, without the accommodation, like without permanent structures or anything for that, it's got to be like it is already a sporting lease. So it's like with the permit's going to allow it to be another sporting lease. If then the general public are able to access it as well, that'd be a bonus. But again, we'll have to wait and see whether it all comes out. But with the plans that are in place for that lease at that particular area, and that's the only area we're talking about, I can't see how I can vote against it.
Thank you, Councillor Crowther. Councillor Coghlan?
Yeah, I think the waters have been really muddied in regards to this because we're talking about, I think, two separate issues. We're talking about a program and we're talking about a high ropes course. They're two completely separate things. The program can go ahead without the high ropes course, and that's an issue for another day. But in regards to a high ropes course on that property, I think it begs a further question of council planning, because as far as I'm concerned, something like that would be better served out at the youth camp, and that could be then taken advantage of by Elvin's group out there. The use of it for the community, I would need more information, and because you just can't, you need qualified people and highly trained people, because this is a quite dangerous activity, and the people involved in the program, that's not their main jobs. You know, their job is to look after troubled youth, so they would then have to be removed from those programs if the community is going out there using it. So I think I need to see a business plan or a model of how this area is going to work before I can support it. And I think it leads to a question to be had about the use of the area out there at Lake Moondara.
Thank you, Councillor Coghlan. Deputy Mayor?
Oh, just the same. I do appreciate that it'll be for the whole community, and I think that's a great thing. But I haven't got enough information, so I won't be supporting it.
Okay, and I guess my only comment is, you know, we encourage people to look for problems in the community and go out and solve them. I see this group has been able to achieve the funding. They've got a record of working with young people. I appreciate what they're trying to do. Their land use fits the description of the land for the lease that they are seeking. I think they're going to clean up an area that is currently not in great condition and no one is using. They're going to add value to it. And I don't see there's any downside for this for council. I think you're right, the waters have been muddied by a whole heap of other issues. I guess whether they utilise the Lake Lions Youth Camp or whatever, that's not to do with whether we can approve them to use this parcel of land. And I don't see how in good conscience that I can vote against it when all the time I'm out there trying to unite the community, identify problems and help people that are trying to solve them. So I guess my only comparison yesterday was when I spoke to the Pathways College. The residents of Healy were not initially understanding of what they were trying to achieve, and they were against that. And I guess we can only use that as an example of what's been a great success for our community. I saw 17 people graduate out of there that would not have necessarily finished school and would have been at risk had they not had those opportunities. So, yeah, I'll be voting for the motion, but we'll put it to the vote now.
Well, through the chair, I don't think that's a good comparison, because that Pathways, there was a lot of consultation before we had the vote. I mean, we had a community session yesterday afternoon where we've learnt some information, which was great, but we'd like more information, and it feels like we're being railroaded into a decision here today. How long has council known about this proposal?
The first it came onto my attention was, I think, the week before the December meeting. Regardless, I think we had a really good community consultation session yesterday, and as I said, I thank everyone for coming along. The concerns I had were the material change of use for the property that's already been purchased, and that's an issue for another day. I heard most of the community say that they were in favour of the high ropes course because kids would be escorted there on a bus, they'd use the facility and then they'd be leaving, and you know, it was something positive for the community. So I honestly think most of the residents out there actually support paintball getting cleaned up and that this lease being awarded. I think their issue is a completely separate issue than what we're voting on today. So I'm happy to support, as I said.
Yeah, and I think, look, they're coming up with a solution. I understand that it's somebody trying to do something positive, and the community's going to benefit from it as well. As I said, it's for the community use as well. So I think it's something that we need to take that into consideration and go, well, we're going to be looking over it all the time. We're going to be checking on it over all the time. They're going to be doing what they can to make sure it rolls ahead. So, yeah, I think we're probably worrying about some things that we don't need to worry about, in my opinion.
Okay, thank you. If there's nothing further, we'll go to the vote. All in favour? So that's 3-3. Oh, against? I'll take it anyone who didn't put their hand up was against. Okay, so that means that...
Like my name noted too, please, just so people know.
So that leaves it to me to cast a deciding vote. Is that how it goes? Well, I'll be voting in the positive. Thank you. So carried. Okay, item 12.4, Regulatory Services Quarterly Report. Do I have a mover for that motion?
Yeah, I recommend that council receives and accepts the Regulatory Services Quarterly Report as presented.
Thank you, Councillor Coghlan. Do I have a seconder for that motion?
Seconded.
Thanks, Councillor Crowther. Oh, before we go on, I'll just say, I guess we've got all the people from Mythica Noogli here. I don't know if you just understood what happened, but you were successful in achieving that lease, so that bit's over. So you can leave now if you want, or you're happy. More than welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting. Congratulations. Sorry, do I have a seconder for that motion? Thanks, Councillor Crowther. Would anyone like to speak to that?
No, I think there's been a fair bit of work done in this area. There was some issues there, and I think there's been work there and still work to be done. But yeah, we're doing well with the cats, but can't take our foot off the accelerator.
Okay, thanks, Councillor Coghlan. All in favour of accepting that report? Carried. Item 12.5, sponsorship application out of rounds 2025-2026 MICE. Do I have a mover?
Yeah, I move that council approve sponsorship in Mount Isa Community Ensembles Inc. in the amount of $5,000 for their Queens of Song Mount Isa project to be held at the Mount Isa Civic Centre on Saturday, 21st of March 2026.
Thank you, Councillor Doyle. Do I have a seconder for the motion?
Ballard.
Thank you, Councillor Ballard. Would anyone like to speak to that?
Yeah, the Queens of Song Mount Isa project is a week-long community arts initiative bringing professional artists Melissa Buckholtz and Meg Kitty to Mount Isa for the workshop, rehearsals, mentoring and a major public concert. It engages 80 local students, school students and community musicians, fostering youth development, inclusive music making and cultural participation while strengthening the region's creative and educational capacity. I think it's a great thing to bring people together and something different too, you know.
Okay.
I'd
Yes, Councillor Ballard.
Oh, so no, you.
I'd just like to say that I had the opportunity to provide a letter of support for this, for the other funding that will be used to support bringing these people to town. It's a really passionate group of people. I think they do a wonderful job, and I think that this will be money very well spent.
Okay, thank you. Did you want to comment also,
Yeah, I
Councillor
just wanted
Coghlan?
to reiterate what Councillor Ballard and Councillor Doyle said. It's a great project, and I think the $5,000 will fill the Civic Centre, you know, because it's local people, and we've seen the School of Dance, or Mount Isa School of Dance, yeah, they fill that place, and having locals perform, it'll fill the place, and it'll be another example of what brilliant talent we have in this town. So I think it's a great initiative.
Yeah, that's what I'm excited about, is anything that involves our local people showcasing their skills and their talents and their abilities. It's good.
Yeah, thank you very much. All in favour? I don't think there's any disagreement on that one. Well done. Okay, item 12.6, RADF Round 2, 2025-2026. Do I have a mover?
I'll move, is it yours? No? That council approves the following organisations to receive funding under Round 2, 2025-26 Regional Arts Development Fund Grant Round. Curious Arts Inc., Fractured Fairy Tales, production in partnership with Curious Arts of $5,120, and the Drovers Camp Association, Blue Sky Dreaming diorama of $9,760.
Thank you, Councillor Crowther. Do I have a seconder?
Seconded, Deputy Coghlan.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Would anyone like to speak to that?
Obviously, these two applications were brought to the RADF team. RADF team both thought they were pretty good ideas, and they would benefit the community, so that's why they approved both of them.
Thank you, Councillor Ballard.
I just want to be clear that it's not funded by council, it's funded from under
RADF
state.
funding,
Yeah, it's
Yep.
from RADF funding. The money's been set aside there
Not-
for arts projects.
Notwithstanding the fact that they're both great projects, but
Yep.
if anyone
Yep.
was curious, it's not coming out of council coffers to support that.
Yeah, no.
Well, I'd just like to say I'm very interested in the Drovers Camp Association, their Blue Sky Dreaming diorama, because I actually have been out and sort of seen what they are going to do, and when they get it up and running, it's actually going to be very, very spectacular. It'll be really, really good.
Yep.
Good.
I
I'll be
think
looking
because
forward
they've
to it.
delivered on a lot of their projects, and they've delivered well on them. It's
Yeah.
Yep.
always good to see.
Yeah, that is a solid community group out there, and thank goodness we have them. Okay, all in favour? Carried. Okay, item 12.7, Library Services Quarterly Report.
I'd like to recommend that council receives and accepts the Library Services Quarterly Report as presented.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Do I have a seconder for the motion? Thanks, Councillor Ballard. Would you like to speak to it?
Oh, just, yeah, library, our little jewel in the crown, just keeps ticking over with everything. They had all their school holiday activities, but as usual, they've got, they have everything happening, and I'm just, with the chess, looking at reading books all through the year. So it'll be good.
Okay, thank you. All in favour?
Through the chair,
Councillor
I just
Coghlan.
wanted to highlight that chess club. I forget his name. I'm terrible, I know, but I met the man at the thank you dinner or afternoon. It's not just for kids; it's for adults as well. And if anyone knows, when the BSD used to be here, Mount Isa had a thriving chess club because we had a lot of migrants, Europeans that had it, and we actually had an Australian champion who worked here. So, yeah, it's open to everybody, and I really just want to highlight that to head along there. And if you don't know how to play, that's fine, because that's part of the process. Is they'll teach you how to play. It's been a great initiative.
And I will say the children are very good at it, because certain adults sitting in this room got it given to them. And she was only 9.
Oh, my goodness.
Mature 9.
Might have to go along and learn how to play chess,
I
hey?
had no idea.
Okay, all in favour? Carried. We're moving on to section 13 now, infrastructure services reports, and I'd like a mover for 13.1, major projects overview report, December 2025.
I'll move that council receives and notes the December 2025 projects overview report.
Thank you, Councillor Crowther. Do I have a seconder?
Councillor Coghlan.
Thanks, Councillor Coghlan.
I'll just do a bit of an update on the capital works program. There's a total of 62 capital works projects, a total budget of $27,638,674. Total expenditure to date is $6.9 million, which equates to about 25%. Obviously, there's a lot of works in project, but 4th Avenue Stage 2 construction's on track for completion in February 26. Construction of the Campbell Miles Lookout, demolition works near complete, site survey works being undertaken January 26. Free issue items procured and due to arrive in February 26. Network reconfiguration construction, the tender award January 2026, and the 34 Mile Street car park renewal and EV station. And then some DRFA projects that are on the way as well.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? All in favour? Carried. Item 13.2, 2025-24, Mount Isa City Council Water Mains Network Reconfiguration Project. Do I have a mover?
Yeah, I'll move that council awards contract 2025_24 2025 Mains Water Network Reconfiguration Project VP 479414 be awarded to Uturista Proprietary Limited for the amount of $3,276,906. Oh, sorry, $3,276,906 excluding GST. Delegate authority to the CEO to negotiate, finalise, and enter into contracts substantially in the terms of the contract issued with the tender.
Thank you, Councillor Crowther. Do I have a seconder?
Councillor Coghlan.
Councillor Coghlan. Anyone want to speak to that?
Yes, please.
Yes, Councillor Ballard.
We had a local tenderer for this contract and they fared quite well. I want to rest everyone assured that this council is at pains to find every opportunity to spend whatever we can locally. And while the local tenderer was unsuccessful in this instance, they were given certainly due consideration. What I would like to say though is I believe that there's a body of work to be done within council to try and build the capacity of our local providers to further enhance their opportunity to be considered for large contracts such as this. But yeah, certainly spending locally is a priority, and you know, our local spend is up as a portion of our budget.
Yep, very good point. Anything further? All in favour?
I'm again.
Okay. You want that noted?
Yes, please, I'll have that noted, please.
Thank you, but that is carried. Item 13.3, Tender Report 2025-2028, Gliderport Road and Infrastructure Construction. Do I have a mover?
I'll just move that council accepts the tender evaluation panel recommendation and resolves to award a contract to Durac Civil Proprietary Limited for $3,484,816.15 exclusive of GST to deliver the Gliderport Road and Infrastructure Construction Project, and delegate authority to the CEO to negotiate, finalise and enter into contract.
Thank you, Councillor Crowther. Do I have a seconder?
Seconder. Jane. You know.
Councillor Coghlan is going to
thanks for that.
second. Okay, thank you. I'd just like to add that this project has been achieved because we're successful in getting that residential activation fund money, and I think, you know, for all of those people living up in that area, that connection road has been missing for some time. So I think it's going to make the whole area safer in terms of traffic management, particularly for pedestrians and cyclists and people with prams going up and down Wright Road. So I'm so proud of this council for being able to achieve this project after, you know, the 20 years of the community waiting for it. Councillor Ballard.
I'd just like to acknowledge the hard work of Director Andrew Hobbs. You know, we were successful in this funding, and he was barely in the saddle when he was tasked with trying to get this ready to roll out in as short a time frame as possible. I think Andrew and his team have done some really sound work there, and we're in good hands.
Yep, I agree fully. Anything further? All in favour? Carried. Okay, item 13.4, 2025 33 Mount Isa City Council fleet replacement, 2 times large tip trucks. Do I have a mover?
I'll just move that council award contract 2025_33 MICC fleet replacement of 2 large tip trucks be awarded to Isuzu Australia Limited to the value of $562,812.02 excluding GST plus registration and CTP costs of each unit, and B, delegate authority to the CEO to negotiate, finalise and enter into contracts in the terms of the contract issued with the tender.
Thank you, Councillor Crowther. Do I have a seconder?
Councillor Coghlan.
Thank you, Councillor Coghlan. Would anyone like to speak to that?
I'd like to say how well the Fleet Committee is going since the addition of Councillor Ballard and Councillor Tully. I think, you know, we've really got a bit of a plan in place now, and we're heading down the right track to make sure that our fleet is the best it can be.
Okay, thank you. All in favour? Carried. Item 13.5, 2025-35 Mount Isa City Council Fleet Replacement 2.5 tonne, is that tonne?
Yep.
Crane truck? Sorry, I'm not across my fleet.
Yep.
Do I have a mover?
Yeah, I'll just move that council award contract 2025_35 MICC fleet replacement of the 2.5 tonne crane truck be awarded to Isuzu Australia Limited to the value of $301,141.19, excluding GST, plus the registration and CTP costs. And then delegate authority to the CEO to negotiate, finalise into the terms of the contract issued with the tender.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder for the motion?
Ballard.
Thank you, Councillor Ballard. Any comments from anybody? All in favour? Carried. Okay, we're now at the part of our meeting where we go into general business and give the councillors an opportunity to say whatever they would like. Over to you, Councillor Ballard.
Thanks very much. So this week's a big week in town. All the kids are back to school. For any parents out there whose hearts are breaking, either yesterday or this morning, I feel your pain. I wish I was as stoic as my daughter upon the return of to school and the start of the new year. So, yeah, that was a sight to see. You know, to see her go back to school with these mates that she's had since she was this high, and now they're as tall as I am. It's anyway. Moving on before I crack up too much. I'd like to extend my thanks to Andrew and the Water and Sewer team within council for that busy weekend and public holiday. You know, their efforts going above and beyond to ensure that the basic services are being provided to our residents is a real credit to them, and I'd like to thank them for all that they did. Australia Day celebrations, what a day. You know, over 70 new citizens, some wonderful people recognised in the awards. You know, I think it's an opportunity to celebrate everything that helps to make our community great, and every single person that was asked to come up on stage and receive a certificate was such a worthy recipient of that recognition. So congratulations to everybody, and welcome to our new citizens. Big weekend this weekend with the Sign-On Expo. It's a real highlight of the calendar and probably marks, you know, the kick-off of the year in earnest. And I expect that this year's going to be no exception. It'll be a well-supported event, and it's always a credit to the council staff that go to great lengths to put that on. One thing that's going to be happening in the next month in Mount Isa is the STEM Changemakers program, which is directed at bringing regional girls into the STEM fields and partnering them with industry experts to identify industry problems, you know, highlight career opportunities for them to move into those industries, and really encourage participation, particularly for regional girls. So I've got the opportunity to participate in that program, and I hope that anyone that has any sort of an interest in those STEM fields take the opportunity to participate. And lastly, you know, very much the year is underway, and before our next ordinary meeting, we will have begun our budgetary workshops to try and continue the good work that Director Kelvin and his team have well and truly begun. As you know, we're doing very well financially thanks under his stewardship, and this will be the first budget process that he's going to participate in, and I'm expecting to continue along that track of really good work.
Thank you, Councillor Ballard. Councillor Doyle?
Yeah, just Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everybody here in Mount Isa community. Just talking, same as what Dan said about kids back at school. My second son just started grade 7 this year, so he's in high school, so he's in the big school. And my little fella, he's got his cousins and that, and they're like his brothers and sisters, but he was sort of a bit overwhelmed by not having his other brother there, his big brother there. But what it did show me was that our community, like the teachers, the principals, and this is the same at every school, our community bands together when needed. And so it just shows me, and it proves to me, you know, because sometimes you lose hope, but it just proves that our community is amazing. We've got a lot of support and a lot of good people in our community. and anything that's going to highlight and showcase, you know, what we have available to our people, you know, I'm all for it, which is part and parcel of what I've said. Sometimes I'm very passionate and it can be taken and mistaken for aggression, but I'm going to try and focus more on the positive and so I'm changing myself to a degree as well, and just seeing how brave my sons were and how good they were going into school, and my nephews and stuff, and a couple of little kindy kids starting this year, 2 nephews. So it just made me realise I need to maybe refocus more on the positive instead of trying to get rid of the negative. I've always promoted that and preached it and said, you know, we get rid of the negative by outshining them with the positive, and then, you know, sometimes you fight the good fight too hard and it sort of wears you down. So this year and moving forward, I'm going to make sure that, you know, I'm pushing as much positivity as I can, and showcasing and highlighting as much quality people and environments and everything that we have in our community. So I just sort of wanted to, I suppose, pass that on to everyone and the community.
Thanks, Councillor Doyle. Not everyone's able to self-reflect and make changes, so I congratulate you on that. Councillor Crowther.
Yeah, like everyone, welcome back to all from the Christmas New Year break. To all the new teachers in town, I'd like to congratulate that education team that brought them all together. Welcome to the city and sort of really sort of making them trying to feel welcome straight up. To the more teachers we get to stay, the better. So I was glad that they were able to do it. And I heard that the Mount Isa Race Club's going to be doing I think the first race meet, they also include and make sure all the teachers invited to sort of get them on. So it's great to see the community welcoming in every new person that we can get to get them to stay for that little bit longer. The Citizens Day ceremony, they went unbelievable. 72 new citizens that sort of is all part of the obviously Australia Day celebrations. But those 72 new citizens, though, you could see the pride in them and making the pledge, and it's always great to see. I'd have to congratulate Deputy Mayor again on the pronunciation. I can't even say the word. Pronunciation of all the names. Look, that's why she gets to do it and none of us. There was some different names there for her to get out, and she did extremely well. So that was a lot of great work, and all the committee that sort of got all that together. There was like a lot of Lamingtons there and a lot of people there, so it was great to see. And then to all their award recipients for the Australia Day celebrations. Mentioned to the Civic Centre already, but to the pool, they did a great day there. We popped in there on the way after the celebrations. There was a lot of people there with Rotary and others doing sausage sizzles and the slides running and that, so there was some great activities there. And then also at our back at Isa, they were quite busy, giving some free tours and all that. So it was great to see that all the areas were participating and getting everyone involved. Just go out to all the community that's been affected by flooding. I mean, there's been a lot of devastation with the flooding around. We've been pretty fortunate in Mount Isa that we've had good rain and it's been able to fill the lake. But for some of those other communities, they've sort of had a lot of devastation, and it's good to see that we've got support from the state and federal members to come out, as well as the leaders of the governments that come out and sort of see those places in action. And just lastly, I just want to put a condolences out for Tony Zazzino. Tony, long-term sort of resident, but left a fair years ago, but did a lot in the mines over the years. And he passed away sort of just after Christmas there. And he's survived by Trudy, who was a librarian here for a lot of years, and I think most would have known Trudy over the years. So yeah, there.
Thank you, Councillor Crowther. Councillor Coghlan.
Yeah, thanks. I really enjoyed the Australia Day Awards, and the thing that shone out for me was the 3 major award winners when they spoke, and just the love for this community. And I think that is in this chamber here. The reason we all ran was because of our love for this community, and it just shows that, you know, if you put into this community, you get a hell of a lot more out of it than what you put in. And it's the only town in Queensland that has reunions from people who lived here all up and down the coast. No other town has that, and it just shows how special this place is. I didn't realise how emotional it was for people to become a citizen of Australia, but when I saw people on stage in tears, it affects me, you know, like how lucky we are to live where we are. And I remember Jerry Rygrock, he came over after the war and worked at the mines and brought his family up here. And my mother always tells a story of him one Australia Day singing Waltzing Matilda with tears running down his eyes because he couldn't believe how lucky he was to be in this country. There's a couple of things with the Mayor's speech that resonated with me. One was the change in Mount Isa Mines. When I came back 20 years ago, the place had changed. This town had relied on the mines to carry it forward, and that has well and truly, passed by. It is up to the community now to do so, and the council to facilitate that. And we talked about initiatives, and I think the award winners, Daryl Avery and Jay Morris with the Clean Up to the Lake, I think that shows a way forward for this council. When we talk about initiative, we have trouble with our resources and getting things done, but there are people in the community that we can lean on to do certain things on behalf of council or to make this place a better place. And I think we need to look at those types of groups, and that may be the way to go forward, utilising the resources we have in our community, because, as I said, we've got some brilliant people here, and we need to look internally first, because that's when we started going down, when everyone started looking outside. Congratulations to Councillor Coghlan again. The sign-on day, I know it was your idea many, many years ago, and it's continued to be just such a wonderful day, and people are always blown away by how much is in our town, and that's a message we've got to get out. When it comes to sport and when it comes to people who love this community, I'd just like to send my condolences again to Gina Tyson. Eddie Tyson passed away. Eddie was heavily involved in the community in softball, basketball. He was a Queensland athletics runner. He played for Queensland and Australia when it came to softball. And he gave tirelessly to this community through coaching, through administration, and has raised his family here. And he passed away after a long battle with cancer, and just condolences to the family. But I think him coming here, I think he lived a pretty good life, and he showed what you can do in this town.
Thank you, Councillor Coghlan. Deputy Mayor.
I'd just like to reiterate what I think Councillor Crowther said about the new welcome to the new teachers that are starting here, and just a word of advice for them. A lot of them are fresh out or just permission to teach. Just learn off the teachers that are in the classrooms and have got years and years of experience, because that's where you'll gain a lot more experience without looking at a book. Also a big thank you and welcome to the new doctors. We've got doctors, nurses, emergency services. They have like their turnover at this time of year, and we've got all the new recruits coming in. So welcome to Mount Isa, and I hope the race day is going to be bigger than Ben-Hur. I think it'll be a great day. I just would like to, there's two families. Ian Brown's memorial is on this Saturday. Brownie was a old Mount Isa person here for many, many years. Did work at the underground hospital. He was actually in the scuba diving team in Mount Isa way, way back when they used to have to go and check the wall at the dam and that. So, but he's been someone that's been put in. He played golf out here as well, so there's a memorial for him at the golf club on Saturday at 2 o'clock. Also, sorry? 100-year committee as well, that's right, he was too. So he always got involved in everything. We also, I had, well, it's not a pleasure to go to a funeral, but Jimmy Mock passed away after a little battle with cancer, and his funeral, he was in the Fijian community in Mount Isa, was just absolutely amazing. They're quite a strong community, and it was a beautiful service to go to. And just like to say an apology to the people of Mount Isa, because I didn't get a promise. I promised that there'd be no lane ropes at the pool after the water aerobics, but they didn't get taken out. So I do apologise for that. Must have been a lack of communication, but we'll get that fixed somewhere through the year. And as it is a new year, I'd just like to say I was a bit sick in January, so I'll start the diet in February. Because I always go on a diet on the 1st of January.
Okay, thank you, Deputy Mayor. Righto, I would like to move that council considers the confidential reports listed below in a meeting closed to the public in accordance with section 254J of the Local Government Regulation 2020-12. Item 15.1, Quarter 2 Financial Year 2025-2026 Budget Review. This matter is considered to be confidential under section 254JC of the Local Government's Regulation, and the council is satisfied that discussion of this matter in an open meeting would on balance be contrary to the public interest as it deals with the local government's budget. Item 15.2, MICO Finance Overview Report, December 2025. This matter is considered to be confidential under section 254JG of the Local Government Regulation, and the council is satisfied that discussion of this matter in an open meeting would on balance be contrary to the public interest as it deals with negotiations relating to a commercial matter involving the local government for which a public discussion would likely to prejudice the interests of the local government. 15.3, request to hold interest from accruing on outstanding rates and charges and utility water consumption. Charges for 33 identified non-profit sporting clubs and community organisations. This matter is considered to be confidential under section 254JD of the Local Government Regulation, and the council is satisfied that discussion on this matter in an open meeting would on balance be contrary to the public interest as it deals with rating concessions. Item 15.4, disposal of council asset, lot 1, SP 312346. This matter is considered to be confidential under section 254JG of the Local Government Regulation, and the council is satisfied that discussion of this matter in an open meeting would on balance be contrary to the public interest as it deals with negotiations relating to a commercial matter involving the local government for which a public discussion would be likely to prejudice the interests of the local government. Can I have a seconder for that motion, please?
Councillor Coghlan.
Councillor Coghlan, all in favour? Carried. Okay, so we will now break to have cup of tea with any visitors. So, yeah, we're moving into confidential. But grab some food, everybody. Okay, do I have a mover for item 15.1, quarter two financial year 25-26 budget review?
Okay. I'll move that council approves the transfer of 1.1 million from the 2025-26 capital program budget as detailed within this report, and that council further approves that the 1.1 million be reallocated to enable the procurement of a compactor within the 25-26 financial year.
Thank you, Councillor Crowther. Do I have a seconder?
Ballard.
Councillor Ballard, all in favour? Carried. Do I have a mover for 15.2, Myco Finance Overview Report, December 2025?
I'll just move that council receives and adopts the December 2025 MyCo Finance Overview Report as presented.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder?
Councillor Coghlan.
Thanks, Councillor Coghlan. All in favour?
Sorry.
Carried. Item 15.3.
Madam Mayor, can I just say, and I do apologise, but I have a declarable conflict of interest on 15.3. I'm actually the secretary of the Mount Isa Touch Association, so as a result of my conflict of interest, I'll leave the room and stay away from the decision.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a mover for that motion?
I'd like to move that council approves and grants to hold interest from accruing on outstanding rates and charges and utility water consumption charges for 33 identified non-profit sporting clubs and community organisations listed in Schedule A of this report under Section 6.5 of the Mount Isa City Council Rates and Charges Debt Recovery Policy, and in accordance with Section 133 of the Local Government Regulation 2012 until 30 June 2026.
Thank you, Councillor Ballard. Do I have a seconder?
Councillor Coghlan.
Thanks, Councillor Coghlan. All in favour? Carried. Council,
Just
sorry.
waiting.
Yeah, we're going to
on-
wait for the
yeah.
Deputy Mayor. We took a chair away too. We took the chair away from out there. We've got it in here, still from yesterday. Item 15.4, disposal of council asset, Lot 1, SB 312346. Do I have a mover?
I'll just move that council resolves that the exception in section 2361 of the local government regulation may apply to the council on the disposal of the value of non-current asset being lot 1 on SP 312346 to the Department of Housing and Public Works other than by tender or auction for a minimum of $325,000 inclusive of GST, subject to the negotiation of the contract of terms and conditions.
Thank you, Councillor Crowther. Do I have a seconder?
Ballard.
Thank you, Councillor Ballard. All in favour?
I'm against. Can I have it noted, please?
Carried. There being no further agenda items, the time is now 10:58 and I declare the ordinary meeting of council closed. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.